Oh, it is Dr. Cinema here. You know, one of my favorite franchises is the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. They serve as they were the first franchise, the first set of movies that I was introduced to when it came to horror. I mean, Freddy Krueger is just so fun. How can you not love him? I mean, yeah, he's a child killer, but that personality, yo. Now, of course, when it comes to horror franchises in particular, the sequels tend to not be so well, and there are probably more bad installments than there probably are good ones. However, with Nightmare on Elm Street, I feel like there are more good installments than bad ones. So I went to decide how many installments are actually technically a part of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and I decided why not rank them. Now there are 9 installments if you include the Freddy vs. Jason movie. And I'm going to rank all 9 of them right here, right now. So let's get right down to it, shall we? At ninth place, at the bottom of the list, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Well, I guess let's start with the premise. Apparently, Springwood has no children. No children in Springwood. At all. I feel like the FBI would have been involved long before the release of this movie if that was the case. But no, apparently no kids. And so a group of kids from a neighboring town somehow end up in Springwood. And here's the part that gets really creepy. Like a couple of these kids go into this one classroom in a basically empty public school, and there's a teacher that's still teaching to an empty classroom. Why are you doing this? This is so stupid. Now, to be fair, the idea of Freddy Krueger having a daughter is an interesting idea, but they just didn't utilize that. And the whole concept of a town with absolutely no children whatsoever, yet teachers still teach in empty classrooms like crazy people, is just so fucking stupid. The only saving grace of this movie is Robert Englund's performance as Freddy Krueger. He's always having a good time, so I gotta give him props for that. But this is the so stupidest one. And it pretty much doesn't even connect to any of the previous films either, so I have no idea why this exists. Well, let's go on to the number 8 spot, the 2010 remake. Now, I know some people are probably like, this is the worst Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but I gotta give it props for trying to be something different. I mean, yes, this isn't the Freddy Krueger that we've gotten to know. This is the first time Freddy Krueger is not played by Robert Englund. But even Robert Englund liked this performance, and so I can understand why, because they're trying to go for a different approach, someone that's a lot more darker and a lot more dry in terms of humor. And I can sort of respect that, but other than that, it's just basically any other slasher film. So if you really have any deep desire to watch it, go on ahead. Now let's get to number 7, Freddy vs. Jason. I'll admit this one's a bit of a guilty pleasure. Because when Freddy and Jason do face off in this movie, it is pretty fun to watch. I mean, oxygen tanks as torpedoes, Jason on fire killing people with a machete. But here's the problem with this movie. There's so little Freddy versus Jason. Most of the time it's focused on stupid drama between these high school cutout stereotypes. It's like watching a stupid ass sitcom with a tiny bit of Freddy versus Jason, like it's a post credit scene from a Marvel movie. But again, it is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I won't lie. So that's why it's better than the other two on the list. But let's go on to number 6, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. I will admit, it did give me a little bit of time to actually get into this film. I mean, along with Freddy's Dead, this second film has really nothing to do with the other movies. I mean, it takes place in the same house as Nancy Thompson from the first, but there's really no explanation of what happened to the Thompson family until the third movie, and it's just focused on a completely different family. And the main kid, doesn't even show up in any other equals or really isn't mentioned again. But there are some cool effects in here. Of course, some pretty cool, memorable lines from Freddy Krueger, and it it's still actually an enjoyable movie. It's it's really not all that bad. Unlike when it was first released and people were just really confused by it. Let's go on to number 5, The Dream Master, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Now this film focuses more on the kids that were sort of sidekicks in the third movie back when Nancy Thompson was the main lead until she got killed in the third movie. So this time focuses on Alice mainly from like I said, from the third movie as she battles against Freddy Krueger. This one is a little bit more bland according to some people, but I still kind of like it. It's nice to see that we're still continuing a storyline, unlike the second film between the first and the third. And that little church fight scene at the end was pretty enjoyable for me. So I like this one actually a little bit, yeah. Well, let's get to number 4, The Dream Child. Now, you've seen my review of this movie, of this filth installment. You know that this is the movie that I was first seen when it came to the Elm Street movies. And I can't really go into too much detail because I did a review on it, but go check out my review of The Dream Child, and you'll know why this is on this spot on the list. Now let's go on to number 3, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now this movie came out in the 90s, so you're probably thinking it's probably just going to be a stupid another sequel, but this is where Freddy Krueger realizes he's a fictional character and sort of comes into the real world, and Wes Craven and Nancy Thompson sort of play a different kind of versions of themselves, and it's actually really fun to watch and really makes you think about like the sort of influence horror has had on audiences, especially the ones that came out during the 80s. And it's just a really good, well executed, self-reflexive movie. So if you're going to see only one of them, I'd say go watch New Nightmare. Now let's get to the top 2. On the second place is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Now I know this is blasphemy, but hear me out. Yes, this is one with Nancy Thompson in her first performance of the series, and she does a good job, and it's a lot of creepy imagery as well, but Freddy Krueger is really on this for 10 minutes? I mean, I know what they're kind of going for, like the fear of the unknown, like not seeing what's there, but Freddy Krueger's always been the best part, and I really would have liked to see more of him on here, but I can sort of understand why they really didn't go with that, but it's still a classic. And of course, the number 1 spot goes to Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Now, I know there's a little bit more of a mixed reception with this, but it brings back Nancy Thompson in more of like a mentor role for a bunch of kids that are in a hospital because of psychiatric issues, and they're all learning how to sort of like control and work in the dream world to fight back against Freddy Krueger. And there's a lot more ingenious with the special effects and the dream scenarios. And it's just really utilizing all the best stuff of the franchise in this one film. And that's why I think this is the best of the franchise. It really understands what it is, and it really goes all out in the areas that it should go all out in. Now that's my ranking of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Do you have different opinions? Comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, share. See you next time.